Weather has been quite fine lately, perfect for days out on the water. So you may have heard of the unfortunate incident that left a yacht unsalvageable after crashing on the jetties in Charleston Harbor. Well, this obviously poses a significant environmental impact and a dilemma. Let's welcome back Rudy Socha, CEO of Wounded Nature Working Veterans. Good to have you back with us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So first thing I hear, yacht hits jetty, sinks. And I'm thinking somebody's huge investment. Thank God nobody was hurt as far as I understand. Hits the jetty, now it's totally destroyed. But now we're thinking about the environmental impact. So what can you tell us about what to expect?
Well, the environmental impact, first of all, this is about 40,000 pounds of fiberglass on the exterior. And then you've got, on the inside, you have a lot of particle board that represents the compartments inside. And you also have foam for all the cushions, all the bedding, everything else.
All synthetic, all man-made stuff.
Yes, and then the personal belongings of the people that are living there. Then you get into the motors, which have oil. You get into the fuel tank. You get into a lot of things. But fiberglass in itself is glass strands that are encapsulated by plastic. And so probably you have 25,000 pounds of plastic now that's being busted up and dispersed in that area over by the jetties in the channel.
And this is nature's process where it's getting busted up because currents hitting the rocks, because I'm wondering what's the degradation process length of time for a yacht such as that size to finally fall apart and
well, what will happen is they'll continue breaking up into smaller and smaller pieces.
And that's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing. It contaminates the seafood in that area, especially shellfish. They end up incorporating that into their bodies. And, you know, I did one with towboat probably about 3-4 years ago. And after about 4 weeks, this was out by Isle of Palms, it took us, and that was a smaller boat, it took us, I think it was 10 days just to get all the debris out of the water and the motors out.
You said that was smaller, so how big was this yacht?
This yacht was a 50-foot yacht.
50-foot yacht, how many pounds?
About 40,000 pounds.
Okay, so 10 days for a smaller boat, so this sounds like it could take a month at least.
No, it'd probably go faster because you've got all the weight banging up against the rocks and stuff. And also the location where the boat was at ILP, it was sitting on sand. This boat's, the way that the rock base is set up by the jetties is it goes out in a pyramid. So even as the boat sinks, it's still resting on the rocks. And then you have a strong current because that channel right there, that's where the current goes, where the tide goes out and the tide comes back in. So as that water level goes up and goes down, there's a heck of a lot of water just rushing through that area and then coming back.
We're talking about a lot of materials now getting scattered all over the place.
Yes.
What is the process now to try to salvage it, or at least collect as much as can be collected to dispose of properly?
It's a big money issue, and you know, Towboat and several other Stevens Towing, some of the local salvage companies are more than able and capable to handle this. Salmon's would be another one. It's a matter of financing it.
What about the owners? What about the owners?
Well, my understanding is the owners had no insurance and they're Canadian. And I believe since the home that they were living on, traveling around the country is no longer in existence, they probably ended up going home at this point.
And at this point, our understanding is that they have since gone back to Canada, so now we are left with this boat that's falling apart in our harbor, potentially contaminating the waters.
Right, and that poses a problem. The longer it takes for a salvage company to get out and get a boat out, the more busted up it becomes, the more pieces you have to remove, and the harder the job. And right now, the state and the federal government does not allocate any money to remove these derelict and abandoned boats. So money has to be found somewhere to go ahead and get all this debris out of the water.
And for years, you've been doing such a fine job at removing these derelict boats. We've done so many segments with you in the past, and really what you've done to clean up the harbors around Charleston has just been incredible. So we thank you for the hard work that you've been putting into this.
I don't do it alone. I mean,
know. It's
Towboat, Charleston Harbor Police, DNR, they're all my partners. Coast Guard, we all work together.
Fingers crossed we're going to find some solution to get this yacht disposed of properly. Thank you so much, Rudy, for coming back in and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
We're back after this.